welcome back to another video. Now you may be wondering why there are so many nice cars in Monaco at the moment, and that is because they're here to celebrate the Top Marques Monaco weekend. Now you may recall last year we didn't actually go into the Top Marques Monaco show at all because really there was no point. There's that many amazing cars out on the streets and that's what we're really here to see. But this year Top Marques have been kind enough to give me a press pass for the event, so yesterday I took a little stroll into the event to see what cars are about. So I'll be honest, I have already been in here once before, and that was yesterday for the car spotting challenge video. I was literally in and out of here in about 5 minutes, so I do already partially know my way around, and I know of some cars that I do want to show you guys because they are extra special. So this is one very special car, the Aston Martin AM RB 003. So I managed to see this at Geneva a few months ago, but it is cool to see it now in Monaco with less people about. The Aston Martin stand was swarmed in Geneva, but this car is one of my favourite new cars at the moment. The third project in collaboration with Red Bull, and I think arguably this is the coolest. The Valkyrie is amazing, but this, a baby Valkyrie, I just wasn't expecting it, which makes it so much cooler. And this concept, the paint it's in, is amazing. You can see there, the blue accents in the white look fantastic. And if we come through to the interior, this is a more sort of accessible version of the Valkyrie, so it's a lot easier to get into, it's a lot more user friendly, and the dash there is kind of like an iPad. It's so cool how technology has evolved. And speaking of that, the rear wing on this car is something extraordinary. I've never seen on any car before, but depending on the speed of the car, the wing flexes and molds to give more aero. It's so cool how technology has evolved and come into modern cars. Now, I'm not usually the sort of person to film an Aston Martin DBS, but this is cool. This is to celebrate 50 years of James Bond, and of course Aston Martin have always had a good collaboration with the film. So to celebrate that, 50 of these cars are going to be made all in olive green with some really cool special touches. These rims are absolutely awesome, and the colour is incredible. I think Aston are doing really well with some of the colours on their latest cars. It looks amazing. Check out the interior as well. Some weird touches. I wouldn't personally go for red on the inside, but to the best of my knowledge, all of these cars will be spec'd exactly the same. They've done quite a few collaborations, and yeah, this is alright to be fair. It is very cool to see a Ford GT here. One of the coolest cars at the moment, and one of the most desirable due to how difficult it is to obtain. Now Ford, in order to get these, sent out an application form to people. You had to fill it in talking about what cars you previously owned by the brand, what you intended to do with the car, what other cars you own, as Ford were basically trying to stop these cars from being sat in collections and trying to get them onto the roads to be seen by people, which is a cool process, but it has caused a few issues because you can't sell this car after a certain period. Now this period is just becoming available, so you can now start to be able to purchase these cars on the second-hand market. I haven't seen how much they're going for, but I can imagine it's stupid money due to just how difficult it was to get one in the first place and how good these things look. The back is my favourite angle on the GT, how you can see the aero going all the way through the car, and you can literally see through to the other side. It's unlike anything else, and it makes this car just stupidly cool. Now another thing to note on this car as well is the wheels. There weren't many specification options with the Ford GT, hence why a lot of people have opted to get them wrapped and opted for different wheels, such like Xiaomi has. But this is one of the few options, and one very expensive option. Carbon fibre wheels. Stupid money, and imagine if you curbed them. I don't even know what the repair cost was. How do you even repair carbon fibre? I'm guessing you just have to get a new set of wheels. And now we go from a V6 to a W16. Arguably these cars are in the same category, but they are worlds apart. The Chiron Sport is crazy. A more aggressive version of the standard Chiron with some cool added touches, including the quad exhausts on the back, which is really the only distinguishable feature making this different from the standard Chiron. Second Chiron Sport of the trip. That is cool. So now we have one of the stars of the show due to this car being unveiled here, the new McLaren GT. Now this car, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Seeing it in person, it is so much better, but I feel like McLaren always do that. Their renderings are slightly weird. I felt the exact same with the Senna and the 720S, but now seeing this in person, it does look good. So this is the GT standing for Grand Tourer. Its whole purpose is to be in Monaco. the ultimate place for Grand Tour is the French Riviera. These cars are more spacious, more luxurious, and a lot more suited to long drives, twisty roads, and really going on a Grand Tour. But it doesn't mean that this car isn't quick. 4-litre twin-turbo V8 pushing 204 miles an hour. So despite this being a lot more luxurious, a little bit heavier, and having a lot more room inside, it doesn't make it any slower. So let's take a little look on the interior. So the interior is a lot more plush compared with a McLaren. So you can see these seats, the white leather upholstery. It does look actually very comfortable, and that's the problem with most supercars. They're just not comfortable cars to drive long distances in. So this kind of changes the game, making you able to take these cars on long journeys, and also it boosts a lot of luggage space. Well, I say a lot, I mean that's just a pair of golf clubs, but to be fair, this is a McLaren, so that is a fair bit. It is always nice to see another pista. This is, I don't even know what number on this trip. We have seen so many of them, but this sat next to the FXXK Evo. Now the Evo kit is kind of like an additional add-on to the standard FXXK, and now I've seen this car in the FXXK variant that it was before at both Goodwood Festival of Speed and a Silverstone track day. So now seeing it in its Evo form is also cool. It adds some crazy additional aero bits to the car, including that gigantic rear wing, making this thing planted on the ground. It is crazy, I think, that Ferrari can create the standard FXXK and then kind of go one up on their own design. Now this is another cool car that again I managed to see in Geneva, but it is cool to see here in Top Marks, because despite it being now quite busy in here, it isn't anywhere near as busy as it was in Geneva, so I'm able to get up close and get a better look at the car. And I must admit, even though this is arguably a pointless Huracan, it still looks very, very cool. I especially like the rear exhaust, kind of reminiscent to the Puffamante, and now also on the SVJ. Lamborghini are loving doing this, and I am really liking seeing this. This, of course, the Spider variant. What I find cool about these cars, despite them being lightweight, track-focused cars, the roofs are still electronic. There is still no need for traditional roofs where you have to put them down yourself, which makes this a lot more usable despite it being a very track-focused version of the Huracan. Crazy event. That was only a handful of the cars in there. There were so many other manufacturers that I just had no idea about, so I didn't feature them in the video. But I would highly recommend next year, if you're about in Monaco, to go and check out the show. It was really good. It was totally different from what I was expecting in previous years. The show's been focused around aftermarket modification manufacturers. There's been plenty of cars doing test drives with exhausts and things like that. However, this year the show's completely changed, and it's about actual manufacturers and new cars. So it was cool to see some unveilings of some new cars as well. I heard that a company from Australia brought their car over to be unveiled here at Top Marks, as well as McLaren bringing their GT, which I think looks awesome. And I'd also like to say thank you again to Top Marks for giving me a press pass for this event. It's been great to have an explore around the event and really to see what Top Marks is all about and why there are so many cool cars here. But anyway, I really hope that you guys have gone on to enjoy today's video. If you have, please make sure to smash it a like, subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.